We're going to quickly put this Minolta X 700 through the basic paces to make sure that it's functioning properly. And everything that I've done has indicated that it is, but I want to just demonstrate that right here. Basically the shutter works, but let's look at that in more detail as we step down through. Here's 1/1000th of a second, 1/500th, 1/250th, 1/125th, 1/60th, 1/30th, 1/15th, 1/8th, 1/4th, 1/2, 1 full second, and the bulb setting where the mirror will stay up and the shutter open as long as I hold the button down. And we look in there, everything looks to be in order inside, so we'll let that down. This particular lens is the later style MD. It's a 50mm f1.7, which is pretty fast. It's a newer version of the lens that I learned photography on, and so I know this works very well. Nice detents on all of these aperture settings, and if we lock it at the f22 setting, then it cannot be turned, and that's used on this particular camera for the program mode, in which it then selects the aperture for you. This has a very nice smooth focus, and if we look at the aperture blades, they are very quick. There's no oil gumming them up. I don't see any oil on the surface of the blades from either the front or back, which is very good. Very good quality lens in very nice condition. We will mount that back onto the body like that, and if we put this on the program mode, you can see it was selecting both shutter speed and aperture. And if we set this on the audible side, it will give a little warning if the camera is about to use a shutter speed that's considered too slow to handhold, which it says is 1/30th of a second or longer. So if I just block off the light here and I touch the shutter button, it's giving the photographer an audible warning. So if you like that feature, you can use that. Otherwise you can just turn it on without the beep. One other thing we'll try here is the self-timer. So I pulled up this little lever right here, and there we see the light flashing, and when it starts to flash faster, it's getting closer to the time. And there it goes. So self-timer works well. Stop-down preview works well right here. And if we move around here to the back, here is the rewind crank. That's working well. Back is in good condition. We pull up on the crank, releases the door latch so we can open this up, and inside we'll look at the condition of the shutter curtain. That looks very good to me. It's moving nicely. We can see the film transport over here moving, working well. And then we can look over here at the light seal material. It's a little bit sticky along these door edges. I would say it's not an absolutely urgent matter to get that replaced, but the light seals on this camera should be replaced. It's 30 years old or so, maybe even a little more, and it could use that. Closes nicely. The crank stows back like that, and this we can see that the film counter is indexing up as I use this, so we can see that's working. And this camera also then comes with, on the strap, is a little shutter blind to block out stray light from the back. If you're using this camera on a tripod and you don't have your eye up to it, this will prevent light from entering the back of the viewfinder and cause inaccurate meter readings. Nice Minolta branded strap, original equipment I'm sure with this camera. And I don't have a lens cap for it, but what it does have is a 49mm filter, and it can be used as a screw-in lens cap, or if you really clean this up, it could be an okay filter too. It's going to be considered just protective right now, but one thing we can verify here is that the filter threads on the lens are just fine because that's threaded in just right. So all in all, a nice example of the Minolta X700.